Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the nightly Historical Light Chat and Toast. We have with us a very special guest this evening, Most Worshipful Tony Borum from Grand Lodge of Kansas. Most Worshipful, say hello.
Hello, all. It's good to be here tonight.
Thank you so much for joining us. We also got with us co-host of Historical Light and Deputy Director of Kansas Lodge Research, Brother Robert Marshall. Oh,
Greetings.
and the mascot of Waco Lodge in the flesh. How you brothers doing?
Just fine. Just
Doing
been
well.
busy, staying busy.
Right. So what you guys toasting with this evening?
Well, if anybody knows me, my drink of choice is Crown Royal.
Can't go
Oh,
wrong
there
with
you
Crown
go.
Royal.
I
There you
found some Crown Royal Black in the back of my cabinet, so I'm going to use it. And you guys like to use special glasses. I had one here that I found that I got back in 2017.
Oh, cool.
It is a drinking glass from Topeka Lodge number 51.
Very cool.
When
That's
they had
awesome.
when they had their 150 rededication. What was interesting was that they had their dedication at the Grand Lodge building because that's where they met, and we had a really good dedication there. And so I kind of looked back in their records a little bit, and when I was researching a little bit about 1918 and 1919 about the Spanish flu influenza, I read the Grand Master's report, and he mentioned back then that he went to a rededication at Topeka 51, pardon me, on the occasion of them raising their 1,000th member.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
In 1918.
That's so cool.
There was only a couple back then that had gotten that far. One of them was Wyandotte Lodge number 3 and Topeka 51. So one of the things that people don't realize is that when the Grand Lodge building was built, the 5 lodges in Topeka kicked in a huge amount of money to build the Grand Lodge building. So anyway, I thought that was a good glass to use. We have a lot of history in Topeka, and we're real proud of our lodges there, and they have had a history of stepping up when times were needed. But
Are there still 5 lodges in Topeka now?
I believe so. So.
Wow.
They're scattered out about, a couple of them were meeting in the Grand Lodge building, and then there was one in Topeka that lost their building or sold their building, but they're meeting still at another location. But yeah, they're still active.
Very cool.
Yeah, that glass is an awesome find to kind of attach that memory there. Very, very
Yeah.
neat. One thing I've always wanted to. Oh, there you go. I've always wanted to be able to find. I'm still looking. It's got to be out there somewhere. Picture inside the original. So we started with that Victorian house when we decided to have the Grand Lodge there in Topeka, and I didn't know this until actually buying a few of the postcard images off of eBay of the old house. So we started with that Victorian house. They outgrew that, and they actually built onto it first before they built the current building. So they added on a huge library.
Yeah, they added on a secure fireproof library on the back end of it.
Yeah,
and that was one of the first things they did. But then after they were in there a little while, they found that the building was falling apart on them. It was actually falling apart, and they started sinking so much money into it that they had to make that choice to get out of it before it collapsed on them. It just wasn't a really well-built building. The only thing that was well built was the addition that they made on it.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, they leveled that and came up with a really stunning building, honestly. And I really like it.
For its time, it served its purpose.
Oh, for sure.
It just doesn't serve purpose now. Of course, we it turns out we may have gotten out of that building at the right time.
Mhm.
Well, we've got a bunch joining in with us this evening. See, we had on there Right Worshipful Stoops is joining us, had Most Worshipful Kellerman joining us. Got a
Awesome.
message on here from Brother Patrick Carr saying, welcome, Most Worshipful Sir. Who else we
That's
got
good.
on here this evening? It's like my wife, Brother Justin Staley from Gardner, Brother Maddox. He's been joining in every night. Really appreciate your support, my brother. Brother Fletcher as well has been on here every night. Sean Mullen. There we are. Past Grandmaster Darren Kellerman says, holy socks, the Kansas Grandmaster.
We're fortunate to have Most Worshipful Darren. He's our public information officer. He comes up. He's the idea man. He comes up with ways to reach out and keep everybody informed. And it just when you think he's out of ideas, he comes up with another one. I appreciate him, and I also appreciate his humor. He's got a great sense of humor, and at this time that really is coming in handy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Brother Kellerman, he's got a way on the camera. He prefers to say behind that camera, but he's good both ways.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it took a long time. I got some windshield time with Darren, and I went to a lot of events, and he was always the guy that was never in a picture. And it took me a long time before I could sneak in and get pictures of Darren. I do have a folder that has a lot of pictures of him at events that he didn't know I took. And some of them are pretty good. And I'll hit him with them one of these days.
That's fantastic. Looks like we even got the Grand Secretary, Past Grandmaster Brother Tracy Bloom. Thank you so much for joining us, brother. Well, so for everybody that's been joining us throughout this series, we'll call it, since quarantine started, we've gone on with Historical Light. Instead of just our episodes, we've added in these nightly chats and toasts. So we do the traditional 9 p.m. toast, but in honor of Historical Light, we've got to throw some history in there, or it just wouldn't scratch your itch. So come on at 8:45, do some history, and we'll end it with a toast. So Brother Robert shared a really cool portable desk last night that he carries around that was from the 1700s, and I'm glad this is not a competition because it's hard to keep up with that guy. He's got some really
Hey, that's not true. The desk was just holding what I shared. I was actually sharing Ben Franklin's grandson's signature.
That's true, but I got really caught up on that desk because I was spent last night on eBay for like 2 hours looking for some, man. You can't find those signatures everywhere, but I'm going to find a desk. But anyways, it brings me to my share this evening. So a few nights ago, I shared with you guys a pretty neat gavel with a neat story behind it that Brother Keith McMenamin from Cambridge, Massachusetts had sent down to me. Well, when he sent that package down to me, there's actually another item in here as well. When they were downsizing, he said some of this stuff to many brothers is just viewed as junk or garbage, but he thought me of all people would find the value in it. Nailed it on the head because I'm that guy that sees value in stuff like this. So I have a pretty cool piece here, at least to me. I nerd out on this stuff. I have a piece of a window seal with a nail in it. Seems average, right? The really cool thing about it is this is actually a piece of a window seal with a nail in it that's original 1786. This is a window seal from the oldest Masonic lodge in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and you don't see nails like that anymore, and that is original. So they actually rehabbed this Masonic temple in 1907, January 15th of 1907, and this got saved, and it was displayed in the Cambridge Masonic Temple for years. And eventually when they were downsizing, this is one of those items that over the years just kind of got viewed as, yeah, I think it's just trash. But it's proudly in my display case now. That I just, stuff like this, I eat up. So we've got some neat pictures here. This is actually postcard view. This is the oldest lodge in Richmond, Virginia. It was occupied by the Richmond Randolph Lodge, number 19. It was erected in 1785. Here's a different view of the front. And that seal is actually from one of those windows there. We got a little bit of writing here. It says, the oldest Masonic lodge in the United States, erected 1785 and owned and occupied by Richmond Randolph Lodge number 19, AF and AM, is the first edifice ever built in the United States exclusively for a Masonic purpose. The records of this lodge show that John Marshall, General Lafayette, together with many other statesmen, soldiers, and citizens of international renown, have attention to its stated communications. So I immediately put this in a very, very special spot. I've kept all of it, even have a letter here from 1907 when they cataloged this. It says January 15th, 1907. This is an original seal from the building of the original Masonic Hall on the 17th, Richmond Randolph Lodge number 19, built in 1786, remodeled 1907.
Very cool.
Even kept the awesome little cloth that Brother Keith sent down here. So in my display case down in the Historical Light Archive, I call it, this sits right inside the glass, protected. And I think it's just got a heck of a story behind it that I always like to share. When I have people come over, they're like, what's the chunk of wood? Hey, let me tell you about that. That's a pretty neat chunk of wood.
It's a really cool chunk of wood. So I was not lucky enough to be with you when you got that, but I have been to that lodge, and a very dear friend of mine is a past master there, Bill Thomas. I know he tunes into Historical Light sometimes. So if you're out there, Bill, now or later, there you go. We have featured Richmond's Lodge on Historical Light now, so that's pretty cool.
Well, hey, fantastic. Now that we know we have an inside connection, Brother Thomas, we want to turn this into a full-on episode and catalog the history of that lodge on Historical Light. So reach out to us. We would love to have you on for an interview.
He's the guy. He's in charge of the either the Monroe or the President Madison home. I don't remember which one.
That is fantastic. Well, brethren, it is coming up upon that hour. And we asked our most worshipful Grand Master of Kansas to join us this evening to offer up the toast for us. So if you will, most worshipful, I will turn it over to you for our toast.
Okay. First off, I'm going to be toasting with a favorite of mine, Jack Daniels, Crown Royal Black Label. I usually drink it with ice and water, but I'm going to do a direct here. And I have a glass that I procured from the rededication of Topeka 51 back in 2017 when they had their rededication. And I told Alex before we got started that this kind of came up when I was researching the influenza problem they had back in 1918. The Grand Master's message, he said he went to visit Topeka 51 to celebrate their 1,000th raising. They had 1,000 Masons in 1918 in Topeka. So I'm going to be toasting with this. So let's go ahead and get a little bit going here. Wow, that's a lot.
Big toast.
But I'd like to toast to every Mason in the world. I think Masonry is really under siege in all parts of the globe, and especially in places like Spain and Italy and United States now. It turns out that is one of the leaders in this terrible virus. So I'd like to make a toast to all the Masons around the globe, and I'd like to say that we would want to keep their families safe and healthy. And also, I'm hoping that everybody spends this time away from our lodges and away from our meetings to really learn more about what's most important in life. And that is family, friends, faith, and brotherhood. To all Masons in the world.
All Masons in the world, you're here. You are a man of words. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for doing that for us, Most Worshipful.
That's all right. It's my pleasure. I appreciate you guys doing this every evening. I'll try to get on when I can. I think it's an awesome tradition, one that maybe have been lost. So with every calamity and with every tragedy, we somehow find ways to bring back some of the old traditions to help us get through it. This is a great one.
Agreed. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, and thank you everybody for joining in us with us this evening. Looks like we had a great turnout, had a whole bunch of comments. Sorry if we didn't get to you. We'll definitely make sure we answer each and every one of those comments. But we really appreciate you guys sticking through this, and make sure you come back tomorrow. We're going to keep doing this much as we can throughout the remainder of this quarantine. The goal is every night. So we've only, well, I don't think we've only missed one due to technical difficulties, but we'll keep it going. So really appreciate all of you guys. Stay safe, keep saving history. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Good night, everyone.